This is the email from AAA Life that is asking me to DocuSign the policy.
Okay. And what date and time did you receive? Well,
I received it on Monday, March 24th at Monday, March 24th, 2025 at 8:02 a.m.
okay. And is this a fair and accurate depiction of the email and attachments you received on the morning of the hike?
Yes.
Your Honor, I ask to move it into evidence. Mr. Konig?
No objection. Motion to mark for identification as defendant's exhibit D116 is received into evidence.
Could we please publish the first page, Mr. Dirks? Okay. So let's look at this, okay? So Gerhardt, at the top it says, please DocuSign. It has your name. It has the AAA Life Insurance. I guess that's AAA. Is that who you did?
Yes.
Is that who you got your life insurance from?
Yes.
And the date there is March 24th, 8:02. Is that right?
That's right.
And this was for the extra 500 you were adding on to the million of life insurance you got for her a few weeks before, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you discuss this additional 500 that went through with Ms. Konig, and that the email came in and you DocuSign? Did you tell her about that before the hike on March 24th, 2025?
I did, because we were in the parking lot after the coffee shop, and I was on my phone. I was like, oh, you know what, my, the last of my life insurance just went through. They're asking me to DocuSign it, and so I was doing that.
All right, we can take that down.
Just want to let her know that I'm not like just texting or something, like, because we were out together. And,
Okay. So you were telling her what it was that you were looking at.
You're nodding your head. Is that a yes?
yes.
Thank you.
And so from that point on, if something happened to you and in an accident or whatnot, she would get $1.5 million, correct?
That's correct.
You guys drive up to the Poly Lookout after that?
Yes.
You get to the parking lot. Was it crowded when you got there?
It was.
Did you guys go? What did you guys do first after you parked?
We went to go. Actually, I think she went to the restroom first.
And the porta potty?
No, there's a bathroom.
Okay.
At the lookout.
Okay.
And then we went to the lookout.
You went to the lookout. Now, Ms. Konig testified about this thing about how it looked like there were hikers trying to find the trailhead, and then you said, oh wait, we want to be alone. Did that happen?
No.
How hard is it to find the trailhead?
It's not hard if you know where it is. It's not marked with a sign or anything, but it's right behind the bright blue porta potties, and there's a permanent rock wall, and it's like rock, like kind of almost like an altar right there. So if you know what to look for, it's really easy to find.
After looking at the lookout, did you guys start the hike?
Yes.
You head up the trail, and as you're heading up the trail, did you guys stop and take any photos?
Yes.
Okay, and can we? I believe S-131 is in evidence. Can we publish it? Let's just let the court confirm.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so is this a photo that was on right after you, kind of shortly before you? I mean, right when you started the hike? It was.
Yes.
And who posted that?
Ari did.
Okay. Okay, let's take that down. Now, you're continuing on the hike. What happens at some point? What did something happen that led to an argument?
Yes.
Tell the jury what happened that led to an argument. Well, first of all, how far up into the hike was it?
Not very far. Just like 5 minutes. Like after about 5 minutes of hiking, you get to a part where it flattens out a bit, and the edge isn't, like, the cliffside isn't open, but there's a couple of spots where you can get to the cliffside if you wanted to. So we're kind of still in that area, the same area that picture was taken.
Okay.
And Ari says, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something. I'm working on this project with Jeff Miller, and I'm going to need to travel with him again, and I need you to be okay with that. Is that okay?"
Okay. And so she was kind of telling you, like, hey, there's just things at work going on. I need you to be okay with this. And asking you to trust her.
Yes.
Okay. And again, you mentioned you guys weren't talking about the affair at home anymore because of counseling, correct?
That's correct.
And you guys weren't talking about it in counseling a lot at that time?
We hadn't gotten to
That.
kind of the core of it yet.
So she brings this up. What is your reaction to it?
I'm very surprised, yeah.
Were you upset and angry?
I wasn't angry. I was surprised and upset, and I told her no. Like I'm not okay with that. And not only am I not okay with that, like I'm never going to be okay with that. Like we haven't dealt with that part. Like the only reason why I was okay with her still even working there is because we had placed these limits on their communication. But in my mind, like she still needed at some point to quit her job, and this was only put on hold while we were trying to deal with all these other things. She basically said like, well, I can't quit my job right now because I don't even know if I want to stay with you. So we were dealing with like the issues that she brought up first, but it's not like any of the affair had been resolved at all. Like it had just kind of been put on hold. And so
how did you feel that she would even think that this would even be okay?
Yeah, I mean, it made me realize that we were just not on the same page at all in terms of, like, here I am just kind of like sublimating my feelings and focusing on her hurt and waiting patiently for her to do the same to me. And this made me feel like she wasn't intending on doing that ever.
So what did you say back to her? Were you guys kind of arguing about it?
Yeah, we were for sure arguing.
Okay, and then so what did you say anything to her?
I just said,
out?
Yeah, I said like I need you to move out. Like this has gone far enough. I need you to move out, and I'm going to tell people why you're moving out, and I'm going to show them what you did, because like unless you face this and unless you take full accountability for this, like we're never going to get through this.
So and that was like after you guys had been kind of arguing for a while about. I mean, an argument starts. You guys are arguing. You're telling her no. You're telling her all these things.
Yeah, I mean the argument developed more slowly than what just happened, and there was other things said too. But that's
how it culminated with you telling her, well, if that's the case, if that's how you feel, you got to move on.
Yes.
Okay. What did she say anything to you about her mom and Gianna?
She did. So like earlier in the conversation, she'd be like, "Well, what if my mom chaperones my work trips with him?" And I was like, "No, like I'm still not okay with that. Like that's not a long-term viable solution." And then later in the argument, when things kind of got heated, she was like, well, "Actually, my mom just said that she'll chaperone the trip, and she thinks Jeff is interesting and can't wait to meet him." And I'm like, "You're obviously telling them a whole different version of what happened than me."
So in the argument, in her effort to say for you to be okay with it and go on the trip, she said, "Well, what if my mom chaperones me?"
Yes.
Okay. After it comes to this point in the argument where you say, "Well, you know what, you got to move out there. I'm going to tell everybody what you did." I mean, it was a pretty. It got to kind of it was not a good conversation. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you do next?
I stomped off. I just stomped off up the trail, and this was a point where we were both really kind of just upset with each other, and I went one way and she went the other way.
How far up did you go?
5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Why did you turn around?
I was kind of at a loss of not kind of a loss. I was I just didn't want to be there. Like.
Did it make sense for you to keep going on this hike?
No. I like 5 to 10 minutes in, I was like realizing kind of where I was, and I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go home and like start dealing with what we need to deal with. I don't want to, I got to the point where it opens up and it's like these beautiful views, and I'm like there by myself and upset, and I was like, I don't want to be on this hike by myself, upset, and I don't want to do this hike. I'm going to come back and do this hike at a different time when I'm happy. I was really looking forward to doing the hike.
When you headed back down, were you expecting Arielle to be where you had left her?
No.
Where were you expecting her to be?
I thought she went to the car because I saw her head down the trail.
And there was testimony that she said when you got there, you said, "Oh, you're still here." Did you say that to her?
Yes.
And is that because you assumed she had gone back to the parking lot?
Yes.
How far away from the parking lot were you guys when this argument started?
Like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Or less, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Now you get back. What is her demeanor and behavior like now?
Like a 180 reversal, basically. So she was like extremely apologetic, and said, basically, I'm so sorry. You're right. Like, I need to take accountability and like, let's just, not ruin the day. I don't want to ruin the day. I don't want to ruin our trip. And let's keep talking about this in therapy.
Okay.
And she said, like, I won't travel with Jeff.
Did you guys end up taking a selfie?
Yeah. First, she was like, again, like almost manic, like super happy, and was trying to basically, get me to be in a better mood. And she was like, I'm gonna climb this tree, take pictures of me in this tree. And so she handed me her phone, and I took some pictures of her in the tree. And then after that, she said, let's take a selfie by the cliff's edge.
That was her idea.
Yes,
Okay. Did you guys take one?
we did.
And what happened after that?
Right after the selfie, I just remember kind of staying at the edge there and looking over the edge and just kind of still in thought about everything that had just happened and what's going on. And then I felt like a shove,
Okay.
and I was almost pushed over the edge.
Okay. You felt a shove. Okay. Who shoved you?
Ari did.
What did you do right after that?
Barely caught myself and turned around and looked at her and was like, what the fuck was that? Like,
Okay. Turned around and it was like what like was like kind of in shock, like what the fuck was that?
yes.
Okay. And then